Good evening. I'd like to call the meeting of the Cass Grande Planning and Zoning Commission for July 11th to order. Please join me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Michelle, you want to let the record show all the commissioners are here?
Yes.
Any changes to the agenda?
No changes, Mr. Chair.
All good? All right. Commissioners, we have a set of minutes before us.
Make a motion.
Thank you.
Consider approving the minutes of the meeting of June 6, 2024.
Second?
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Very good. So next is our consent agenda. The ones with E on them, E1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3, right?
Two.
So that for you in the audience, any of those, 1 and 2, what? Anyway. E, yeah. So the ones that are numbered E, they're on our consent agenda. They will be enacted in one motion and one roll call vote of the commission. There'll be no separate discussion of these items unless a commission member or a member of the public requests to pull that item in which that event the item would be removed from the consent agenda, considered in its normal sequence of the agenda. Commissioners, you want to pull anything? Saying none? No. Anybody from the audience want to hear any of those, just those cases that have E's? E1 and E2. Okay, seeing none. Commissioners?
Chairman, I'll make a motion.
Thank you.
To approve the consent items E1 and E2 as presented.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? Seeing none, would you call the roll?
Member Aldrete?
Aye.
Member Vanderhayden?
Yes.
Member Hubbard?
Yes.
Member Peters?
Aye.
Member Estrada?
Yes.
Vice Chair Garza?
Aye.
Chairman Benedict?
Yes.
Very good. Next on our agenda is public comments. Any of you folks from the public are invited to make comments to the commission regarding matters that are not on the agenda. The commission can't respond to those comments, but can and may direct the staff to follow up as appropriate. If anybody'd like to make comments, general comments, please keep them to 3 minutes. Anybody from the public like to make comments? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move on, close the public comment portion of the meeting and get to new business. First up, we'll have a public hearing and for a request from Frank and Connie Willis for conditional use permit for a preschool daycare located at 545 East Palm Park, DSA 23-00056. Jacqueline?
Good evening, Commission. So this is a request for a daycare within a residential zone district R1 located at 545 East Palm Park. The site was previously used as a church. The daycare will be opened approximately from 5:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday and have approximately 10 to 15 staff. Per the Arizona Department of Health Services, the site has capacity for 65 children. The building is approximately 3,564 square feet. It has an outdoor area of 6,027 square feet. Per the CUP requirements for daycares, outdoor area must have a minimum of 75 square feet of outdoor space per child, and of that, 50 square feet of fenced-in play space per child shall be provided with this site is being met. Here are the conditional use permit criteria, staff reviews. Staff finds request meets the conditional use permit criteria. I will be covering the first one in a little more detail on the next slide. And that is that the site for the proposed use is adequate in size, topography, to accommodate the use, and all yard spaces, walls, and fences, parking, loading, and landscaping are adequate to properly relate to the use with the land and uses in the vicinity. Staff finds that the preschool daycare at the site is appropriate. It's an existing building that was previously used as a church. There's adequate outdoor space and meets the requirement per the CUP space as initially directed. However, there is a question on the parking. Within our code, daycare is not specifically called out. However, there is a note under table 17.56030B that notes that the director may determine a suitable parking standard. That has been determined to be one space per 350 square feet. So this site would require 11 parking spaces. Regarding notification efforts, staff and the applicant met all the requirements. I have not received any inquiries or comments to date. So with that, staff recommends to approve the conditional use permit and associated conditional use resolution DSA 230056 with the following conditions. And I do want to reflect that I did add number 2 to reflect the drop-off pickup area on the site plan. Happy to answer any questions the commission may have.
Okay, just before we get to that, I apologize, let me back up just a second, just so folks in the public know this process that you're going to see a couple of times this evening. We'll have a staff report, and then the commission will ask questions of the staff. Then we'll have the applicant come up and speak to us, and we may have questions for them. Then after that, we will open it up to the public for you all to make comments about that particular project. Similar kind of request. Keep your comments to 3 minutes. Don't repeat the same thing that somebody else has repeated. And we'll need your name and address, and we'll get to that point. So you all understand, we're going to have that public process in just a minute. So sorry I didn't say that earlier. So commissioners, we're at questions for staff, I believe.
I have one.
Yes.
Jackie, could you explain the parking situation again? My question would be the square footage per child of outdoor space. Now, would that include the parking spaces as in that number then?
No, it does not include the parking area. It just, it's outdoor play space, and then there's a minimum of 50 square feet of fenced-in play area. So it doesn't include driveways or any of that area.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Yep.
Any other questions for staff? Okay. Would the applicant or their representative please come up to the podium?
Hello, my name is Connie Willis. I'm here today with Mr. Willis, Frank Willis, and some of my staff and my granddaughter.
Okay. Can you give us your address for the record?
An address that we want to open is 545 East Palm Park Boulevard in Casa Grande.
Great. Thank you. Anything you'd like to add?
Well, I'd like to add this. We always wanted something of our own. We rented for 24 years on Brown, and we continue to do the daycare on Brown. But this building belongs to us. God has provided that. It took 24 years, and we want to thank Him for that we're able to have our own building. And we did it to where we had studied our kids for 24 years, and what they didn't have on Brown, we try to put it on Palm Park. What we do is, I would say, me and Frank and the staff, we know kids. I've been doing it for over 20-some years. That's what I do. I watch kids, I know kids. So I'm asking, and I appreciate if you guys let me open up so we can provide not only service for children, but we can provide employment, too, for at least 14 people. Casa Grande is my home. I've grown to love Casa Grande. Now, I'm from Texas, but I've been here a long time. And we want to be good neighbors to where we at over there on Palm Park. We want to be there if our neighbors need something from us and we want to question about anything. We want them to know they can come and talk to us any given time because we're here to work with them. So, thank you.
Okay, great. And just say, hang on just a
Okay.
second. Yeah,
Is this an existing business that you have somewhere else, and this is a new location?
This is a
or
new
just brand
location.
new?
We are located on Brown right now. We operate on Brown, which we're going to continue to keep that
Oh, you
daycare.
are, okay,
545 East Palm Park Boulevard is our brand new building
right.
that God has provided. And we want to thank him for that.
But you're still going to keep the
We're
building
going
on
to keep
Brown
both
too?
of them. We're going to try to get us another 24 years on Brown.
Okay,
Yeah,
Nice.
that's what we plan to do. So,
thank you.
like I said, I want to thank each and everyone for hearing us. I thank my staff for coming. Mr. Frank and I, we have weathered the storm here in Costa Grande, in and out. And we did the best job we can with the kids that we got. Every kid we go, we ain't got everybody don't say good things about everybody all the time. But one thing they can say, and truthfully, that we have given our dedication to those children. You might not like everything we did, but we love those kids over there. And that's our lives. And we're going to make some good grown folk out of those kids. They come through our doors. Make sure they fed well and let them know if nobody else don't love them, we do.
okay. Hang on just a minute if you can. If you don't mind, hang on.
That's
Hang
my
on.
question
we may
for me.
have-
All right, then. Go ahead, baby. Go
Hang
ahead.
on. Any other questions?
Nope.
No, all right, thank you.
Well, thank
Thank you
you.
very much, appreciate
Can I
that.
sit down now? All right.
Yeah, thank you, appreciate it. Very good, okay. Now I'll open the public portion of the meeting. Anybody from the public like to address this issue, please come forward. Come on up to the podium and give us your name and address. Keep your comments to 3 minutes. We appreciate it. Appreciate hearing
Hello,
from you.
my name is Denise Simpson. I am deaf. I have hearing aids, so I don't know how loud I'm talking. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I live at 1726 North Morrison Avenue. I bought that home on January the 18th of 1996, so that's 28 and a half years. With all due respect to Miss Willis, she and I have always been respectful to each other for the most part. I have strong concerns about their parking habits. Very seldom do they use the parking lot that is connected with their building. When it was a church, they had a chain across there because the building was only used on Sundays. It has since been replaced with a gate that no one, let me rephrase that. Seldom do they get out and unlock the gate and utilize the parking lot. They all park on the street all the time. They block my driveway, which is directly in front of their front door and their front sidewalk. I have asked Miss Willis a total of 7 times respectfully. Like I say, we've always been courteous to each other, to please not have people park on our little short street. There's literally 6 homes on our street. It's a very short street. Myself and my neighbors that live right next to me on the north, actually Stan Ingren owns the home, which is whom I bought my home from. Our driveways are constantly blocked. I have expressed to Miss Willis that both myself and my neighbor, I have major health and heart issues. Emergency personnel, when there have to be called out for both myself and my direct next door neighbor, whom both of our driveways are the ones that are always blocked. The street is always blocked there because that's the only place that anybody coming up parks, including when they were first doing everything, all of the work trucks, everything. No one utilizes that parking lot. And I have expressed our concerns over this many, many times. If the emergency personnel have to come, and I would not say that they come for me frequently, but they do come often. The ambulance, the fire engine, of course, comes. I'm sorry, I'm over talking my 3 minutes. I think that my main concern is the parking,
Yep.
the blocking of our driveways, and the noise level. I appreciate the fact that they're doing a good thing. I have no issues with them. I just do not in any way consider that our little bitty location is perhaps the appropriate location for the daycare. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to address this issue? Come on up. Somebody wants to address it, come on up.
I bet you, but I don't know.
Okay, if you could,
To the mic.
address,
My name is Frank Willis.
address us, yeah.
Okay.
Give us your name. and
I'm
then-
sorry to her. I don't know her name, but I seen her across the street. We're not even there. We're not even open. There's no parking. The only parking that maybe she's talking about is the contractors coming and doing the work that they needed to do to get our buildings together. But when we get open, there will be no parking in the street. We have parking space. We have parking area. That's where we'll park. Even when the parents drop off their children, they will not drop them off in the street to you. They will drop the children off, go around to the back door. That's where our drop off is going to be. So the parents, we do have a gate. It'll be open. The parents will park there. We have plenty of parking spots, and they'll go in from the side to take the children in, as to not block the street for you. So we already figured that out. And then when the buses come in the mornings, they'll come like they come down the street all the time when you see the buses. Drop off the kids or pick up the kids in the front and go on their way. Even when they come in the evening time and drop the kids off after school, they'll drop them off in the front. Teachers will be out there in the front to meet the kids. The kids will go into the building and the buses go on. The buses already travel down the street. So we can address that problem for her, and I can make sure in the future that no one parks in the street to block her driveway.
Okay,
Fair enough.
all right, thank you. Anyone else? Nancy? Nancy, come on.
Do it. Just do it.
That's a, yeah.
Y'all have to excuse me, sir. I just had me a little fat tomato to eat. Kind of spilt on me. Everything, but I'm Sammy Barrow, and I'm usually the carrier, the paperwork for the daycare.
Okay, can you give us your address real quick?
My address
For the
is 9310. My physical address is 9310 West Raven Drive, Arizona City, Arizona.
Thanks so much. Yeah, please
And
continue.
the incident she's talking about, we had a couple of fundraisers for people that didn't have insurance. And that's only been a couple of times that the public has appeared at this building. I will be there to see that nobody blocks any neighbor in that driveway, in that deal, in the neighborhood, you know. And we know that it's kind of like a cul-de-sac kind of type thing, but we will see that. But our main interest is the children, the children, the children. Casa Grande, the atmosphere in Casa Grande, we want to add to the atmosphere that people will come into Casa Grande and know that they are welcome into Casa Grande. We want to see Casa Grande prosper because Casa Grande is prosper is best for the children. They got more opportunity. Our one goal, we got one goal in mind: the children, the children, the children. Their welfare is our only concern. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you for letting me speak. My name is Nancy Wood. I'm at 513 Speckle Road. And this is a site that's going to actually impact my home. And in a negative way, I'm for the daycare, and I know we need it pretty, well within the city. Our kids need to be taken care of and things like that. This is not an appropriate location for a child care. If you're aware, Legacy School across Beckel, when you have a number of people coming and going, and this is like a school, and you're going to have a lot more traffic going through Palm Park, and they cut through from Treckle all the way over to Casa Grande Avenue, right in front of that area. And then you have the park, and you have people coming in to have family gatherings, you have youth sports events, and you have a lot of kids and activity that are right along this curved road that is by where their location is. And the people come through that curve, and it's not easy to see people, and it's not a good place for a lot of young children to be around without supervision. I'm sure they would be inside most of the time, but the thing is that it's traffic going to and from the location, which is going to impact this area negatively. Especially with the homes that are right on that street and the ones close by. I have to drive through there all the time. Other people have to. There's a lot of foot traffic with kids. There's a home that's next door to them that is for male children that are needing assistance, and I don't think it's quite appropriate for a daycare to be next to that situation. If I had a young daughter, I wouldn't have her at that daycare. Not that that problem has been any issues with that place. That's very well run, but you have young male kids next to young children, which I don't think is a real good mix when you're thinking about what's already in the location. So it's a wonderful project. They've done wonderful jobs. It's just not a good location for a daycare for young children. The traffic is going to be a nightmare, and it's going to really impact the people that live right next to that location and the people that have to come and go. All the people that live in that area drive through that section right there where they're going to have it. It's already a problem with, there's trash cans out on the curve, there are people and kids walking across there all the time already. We've had a lot more problems with graffiti and people hanging out in the park. It's just going to add to that. So please no.
Thank you. Well, let's see if the public wants, anybody else from the public wants to address this issue. Okay. Seeing none, I'll close the public portion of the meeting, bring it back to the commissioners. What's your thoughts? Yeah.
I'd like to ask a question of the staff real quick.
Yep.
So this is R1 zone, correct?
Correct.
And so that's a residential zone, single family typically?
Yes.
And there are other properties that don't have parking lots and operate more like a single family home that have applied for a conditional use permit for a daycare and have achieved that, correct? Within the city of Casa Grande.
Correct.
So there are sites that have an approved conditional use permit for a daycare with less of the facilities than what is being proposed today, correct?
Yes, the amount of children may be a lot smaller, but in
Yeah.
theory, yes.
Okay.
So can I address that, please?
Please.
We don't have a process for what we'll call daycare homes, all right? Where you're just caring for children within your home and it looks like a home. We have daycare centers, and we do require parking for all of our daycare centers. So I think that any daycare facility we have in the city would have parking for the facility.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
I have a question for the applicants.
Please.
But how many?
So, would the applicant please come up?
Yeah.
We've got a question we'd like to ask.
Hi.
Yes.
But how many children are you guys servicing now on Brown?
We do anywhere from 48 to 55 kids. Now, at one time, it was a house 48. Back in the day, we used to run from 5:30 to 12 o'clock at night. And we used to run, it depends on time. Sometimes they come in, you'll run from 5:30, some leave about 2:30, then they back again. So we had a capacity of 48 as we could serve.
That's on Brown and.
That's on Brown.
Brown and
Dome.
Dome, okay, I'm
It's
trying,
on
I
that.
couldn't think what the side street was, okay, Brown and Dome, okay.
But I understand, in a way, your concern and yours for both of you. But listen, when some of the problems that you was having, did I come out on several occasions, but I think me and you had once talk about it. Never told you 7 times, but maybe I can't.
Excuse me,
But
that's,
what I'm saying is, I didn't, if any
Please
time
address
somebody
us.
got a problem with me, I'm an easygoing person,
okay, thank you.
and I can talk to you if you need it.
No, thank you, that's good.
So, if
Any
you
other
need me.
questions for her?
If you need
No.
me, y'all need me, come talk to me. I'll work it out.
No, we're good.
You're done. You're done.
Chair, I'd like to make a motion.
Yeah?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the conditional use permit DSA-23-00056,
I'll second.
subject to the following conditions.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Subject to the condition.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion?
Yeah.
None?
Oh.
No discussion? All right. Please call the roll.
Member Aldred?
Aye.
Member Vanderhayden?
Yes,
Member Hubbard?
Yes.
Member Peters?
Aye.
Member Estrada?
Yes.
Vice Chair Garza?
Aye.
Chairman Benedict?
Yeah, I think the concerns expressed make me have second thoughts about it. I'm hearing from people that have done it's good service for a long time, so I will vote yes. Motion passes. Okay. Next on the agenda, public hearing and a request for David Sharp for a conditional use permit to allow a 768 square foot accessory building on an R1 zoned lot at 97 North Kimberly, DSA 24-00047. Looks like Samuel. Thank you, guys. Keep up some good work. Whenever you're ready, you
All
got it,
right.
boss.
Good evening, Commissioner members. First thing I want to do is make a a correction. In the description, I have this listed as an accessory dwelling. That is incorrect. It is an accessory structure.
Oh, okay.
So it will not be a dwelling, it will be a garage or a shop. So yes, to hold a public hearing, consider DSA 24-0047, a request by David Char for a conditional use permit to allow a 768 square foot accessory structure on an R1 zoned lot at 97 North Kimberly Drive. Here we see the location on the left and a site plan of the property on the right. The shed that is being proposed is the large one to the left side of the image there, the 24 by 32. The applicant is proposing a 24-foot wide by 32-foot long by 11-foot, 8-inch tall hobby workshop in their rear yard. The building will be used for the enjoyment of the applicant. The building will be painted to match the principal building, and the location of the building meets all required setbacks. Here are the general considerations and restrictions for accessory structures. Staff finds that all of these criterion are met. This is the further requirements for accessory structures. And again, staff finds that these criterion have been met. And then finally, we have the conformance with city code, the requirements for conditional use permits. They're all explored in depth in the staff report. And at this time, staff finds that these criterion are met as well. Public notification, we have provided notice in the dispatch. We have sent out mailers, and a sign was required and posted. And staff has received no inquiries or comments on this proposal at this time. So staff recommends that Planning and Zoning Commission approve DSA 240047, a conditional use permit for a 678 square foot accessory structure with the following conditions, and you can have them, read them there. And then any questions?
Any questions, Commissioner, for staff? Okay. Seeing none, would the applicant or their representative like to come forward to address the commission? Well, you'll do fine. I believe in you.
Yeah, my name is David Sharp and live at 97 North Kimberly Drive. As you can see, I just want to build a tool shed out back. I'm hoping to retire in 4 years, and my wife's probably going to kick me in there, and then she can park her car into my garage. That's all I'm trying to do. I know, right? But that's all I have.
Just make it real. Okay, thank you. Hang on just a second. Any questions for the applicant? All right, thank you, sir.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. I'd like to, yeah, you did good. I'd like to open the public portion of the meeting. Anybody from the public like to address this issue, please come forward. Seeing none, I'll close the public portion of this meeting and bring it back to the commission.
Chairman, I'll make a motion.
Thank you.
To recommend an approval of DSA 240047 for a conditional use permit for an accessory structure with the following conditions.
I think we're approving it.
We're approving.
Yes, we are.
Yes. My motion is to
I'll
approve.
second that.
All right. Okay, motion and second. Any discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Aye.
Actually, I didn't even look.
Yes.
Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Chairman Benedict.
Yes. Thank you. Have fun.
Thank you.
Have fun. Okay, next. Hold a public hearing. Consider forwarding a recommendation to City Council for a request by Bergens, Frank, and a couple other guys on behalf of the City of Casa Grande for a zone change from I-2 to I-1 on approximately 15 acres, Beechcraft and Mooney Avenue. Okay, great. Jim? Uh-huh.
I was sitting here thinking, why isn't the presentation loading? And then I realized it wasn't loading because I didn't load it.
You didn't push the button? Amazing how that works.
Yeah, exactly. So as you introduced, this is a request for a zone change. It involves approximately 15 acres of property located near the northwestern portion of the Donovan M. Kramer Airport Industrial Park. The property that we're discussing this evening is currently zoned I-2, and the request is to place it into an I-1 zoning. A little bit of background or the reason for the zone change: CTE Properties has entered into purchase agreements with the city to purchase approximately 30 acres of property within the Airport Industrial Park. They have an intent to develop the site for a light manufacturing facility involving custom truck production. The applicant is here this evening and they may talk more about their plans. Ultimately, the lots, the ones in question being proposed to go from I-2 to I-1 and some additional lots to the east, will be combined into one large lot to accommodate their use. The western half of the area that they're looking to purchase is zoned I2. The eastern portion is zoned I1. Zone changes, or the zone change is proposed to place the property into a singular zone district, which would meet the city code section 1716-020E, which requires properties to be singularly zoned. And I1 allows their proposed use. I do want to make mention of the fact that the area that they're requesting be zoned from I2 to I1 was zoned I1 as recently as 2019. The city had placed the property as an applicant into I2 zoning in hopes to attract uses that may benefit from the I2 zoning. However, what's old is new again, and the request is to place it back into I1. When looking at zone changes, there are three primary review criteria that have to be assessed, and the staff report goes into these in greater detail, but I'm also going to discuss this with you. The first is that the proposed use shall be in conformance with the general plan. All of the airport industrial park sits within the manufacturing and industry general plan land use category, which supports both I1 and I2 zone districts. Another criteria is that the proposed use shall be in conformance with the general plan in that the action is consistent with the goals, policies, and applicable elements. So I turn to goal MI-1, which is to provide and expand the manufacturing and industry land use area to accommodate a variety of industries. And an action step towards that is to promote the use of the city-owned airport industrial park. This zone change will help accommodate this applicant's intent to go forward to develop on these 30 acres their intended use. An applicable element is guiding principle number 2. Community growth should be driven by industrial development, which offers opportunity for high-paying quality jobs, which the development of this site will surely be an opportunity for employment. Also, a rezoning conforms to the general plan if it proposes uses, densities, or intensities within those ranges identified within the general plan. There actually is not a specified density or intensity for properties within the manufacturing and industry land use category that pertains to light manufacturing development. However, should this zone change be approved, their next steps would be to proceed with a major site plan, which would be in front of Planning Commission. And based on our major site plan criteria, we would be looking at matters that address compatibility, such as appropriate screening, landscaping, and architecture that's compatible with other buildings within the airport industrial park. The last criteria is that the proposed zone change is necessary and proper at this time to meet the land use needs of the residents of the city. As I mentioned, within the airport industrial park, both I1 and I2 zonings exist. I1 is considered an appropriate land use that one would expect to find within the airport industrial park. Regarding the public notification, we met that which is required by city code, and there hadn't been any comments or inquiries received as part of our notification efforts. Staff recommends that Planning Commission forward to City Council a recommendation to approve this zone change request from I2 to I1, and I'd be happy to answer any questions?
Very good. Commissioners, any questions for staff? Okay. I guess the applicant is the city.
The applicant is actually not the city.
Oh,
We're
okay.
the owner, but the applicant, there is an applicant representing the truck manufacturing.
Great. Come talk to us.
Hello again, Mr. Chairman and commissioners. Again, for your records, my name is Carolyn Oberholzer with the firm of Bergen, Frakes, Smalley, and Oberholzer. I know it's a mouthful. Sorry. For me too. We are at 4343 East Camelback in Phoenix, and Jim gave a great presentation, and it is a pretty straightforward request in terms of the use and the reasoning. Just wanted to tell you a little bit more about who it's for. To your point, it is the city that owns it, so they are the property owner, but these guys are in escrow to buy the property.
Right.
And it's always fun to bring a new company to Arizona. Custom Truck One Source is publicly traded, and they build custom trucks like you see on the screen for major utilities, the Forestry Service, waste haulers. This is going to be their Western U.S. production hub. They will assemble over 1,000 trucks a year from this location. There will be approximately 100 full-time employees when they open this location, but they already are invested and operating in Casa Grande. Prior to closing on these properties, they purchased, and I have a slide. Oh, how do I advance this?
I think just the down arrow,
Oh, down, I can't see there.
the up arrow.
Just push something.
Well, it's not that important. Oh, thank you. There it is. So there's the Boeing site on that property, or on this slide, 738 West Boeing, that's just over off of Rockwell Avenue. There was an old machine shop there. They purchased that earlier this year, and they are operating already in that building while they work on getting their new facility operational. We will be submitting that major site plan that Jim advised you of as being the next step in the coming weeks. So hopefully we'll be back before you with that in the fall. And also we will be doing a replat. As Jim mentioned, the project here is larger than any of these individual lots. So we do have to do a lot combination and an adjustment of the streets to facilitate the project, which will be about a 90,000 square foot manufacturing building. So with that, happy to answer any questions. Again, just very happy to be here on behalf of Custom Truck One Source, and there's a representative as well in the audience if you have any questions.
Great. Commissioners, any questions? No, pretty easy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody from the public like to address this issue? Please come forward. Give us your name and address for the record. Seeing none, I'll close the public portion of the meeting, bring it back to the commission.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
This sounds like a great project, and it sounds like it's going in the right location. So I would like to make a motion that the commission forward a recommendation to the city council for this request to change from I-2 to I-1 under DSA-24-00076.
Okay, I have a motion to forward a recommendation to approve. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Pick one. Great, a motion is second. Any discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Member Aldrete?
Aye.
Member Vanderhayden?
Yes.
Member Hubbard?
Yes.
Member Peters?
Aye.
Member Estrada?
Yes.
Vice Chair Garza?
Aye.
Chairman Benedict?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Can't wait to see you next round. Okay, next up, we got, Director, talk to us.
Okay, so few administrative approvals occurred since your last meeting. We approved a minor amendment to the site plan for CG Airport RV storage in our air park. We approved a minor amendment to the major site plan, it says for Project Discovery, it's the Chang Chung business industry over on Clayton Road. We also approved a minor amendment for major site plan for America Retina Consultants, who are converting the old Golden Corral building to medical offices. And I think we had a bagel shop in there too. So I think it's going to be medical and a bagel shop. So good reuse of that building.
I don't know if bagels.
The Board of Adjustment did not meet. Council did approve a number of the zone changes that you recommended to them for approval, as well as a couple of the two general plan major amendments. So we have that. I also do want to let you know that I'll be joining your August and September meetings remotely, because I'll be working remote for a couple months, but then I'll be back for your October meeting in
I think
person.
that's out of order. I think.
On your Development Center report, the only thing I would note for you is that the manufactured homes show that we issued 288 units of manufactured homes. That's not quite accurate. Actually, most of those, over 200 of those, are for the apartments that are being built on North and McCartney by Palomino, the flats. Is it 287 or 287 project? But those are mostly, those are modular apartment buildings, right? So they're technically, from the building permit perspective, they threw them in the manufactured home category. I'm going to see if I can get that cleaned up. But actually, those are over 200 of those are for apartments that are at the corner of Palomino and McCartney. So that's it from my report.
All right, so we're there. Is that it? All right, very good. Anything else, commissioners? Seeing none, we are